vanished somewhere along the way as we dug into our entrees. We covered family histories and our jobs and then seemed to run out of steam. My thoughts bounced off course, wondering about Alice and Dimitri and the wedding. It was hard to focus on a light evening out when I was reminded of the investigation every time I glanced up from my pasta dish to see the lead investigator in the seat across from me. "It's great," I assured him, forcing a smile. It fell, and I set my fork down with a sigh. "I'm totally ruining this, aren't I?"
"I wouldn't say ruining, but you're not making it easy," Caleb said, smiling. "But then I like a challenge."
I laughed softly and reached for my wine.
"You say that now," I teased. "Is there something you'd like to talk about?" he asked.
He was still smiling at me, but there was a new seriousness in his eyes.
"I don't mean to play detective, but it seems like you've got a lot on your mind."
I took a sip of wine, stalling for time as I considered him. He dabbed his linen napkin to his lips and then replaced it in his lap.
"It's about the investigation, isn't it?"
I nearly inhaled the mouthful of wine and sputtered into the glass. Caleb reached across the table and nudged the water goblet a little closer. I took it and cleared my throat before taking a drink.
"It's okay, Anastasia,"
he said, as I regained my composure.
"Considering how we met, I didn't expect we'd really be able to avoid the topic."
I set my water down and picked up my fork again. "No, it's all right. You were right before. We shouldn't talk about it over dinner." He tilted his head and waited expectantly. I peeked at him and then sighed. "All right, just one question, I swear." He chuckled and nodded.
"Go on."
"Is it true that the murderer is usually the lover or partner of the victim?" I asked.
"Statistically, yes."
I dragged my fork through the creamy pasta. "Did you know Lucinda was seeing someone?" Caleb arched a brow.
"No one mentioned it."
A shiver of excitement pulsed through me at the realization that I knew something even the lead investigator didn't know. Harmony and I met him at the funeral, over at the bar. He said his name was Connor. He implied that he was a paid companion of Lucinda's. Caleb's other brow joined the first, peeking halfway up his forehead.
"Connor?"
he repeated, reaching into the inside of his suit jacket. He pulled out a pad and a small stub of pencil. I nodded. "I don't think he gave us his last name." Caleb jotted the note down.
"I'll look into it tomorrow. I don't remember questioning anyone with that name. I'll have to ask Jessica, my partner. What did he look like?"
I relayed a quick description of the man, and Caleb took down a few more notes. I smiled at the lines between his brows as he scribbled, his dinner all but abandoned. "So much for not discussing the case over dinner," I teased. He glanced up from his note-taking and grinned.
"Hey, you brought it up."
I laughed. The whole thing was so weird. I just can't get it out of my head. I thought maybe you'd have some insider info. He closed the booklet and shook his head.
"Trust me, you're way more on the inside than I am at this point. The Vanguard family has done this rodeo before. They've closed ranks. No one is talking. That's why I barged in on the funeral. I knew Lord Vanguard wouldn't be happy about it, but it was a last-ditch effort to get insider information."
I frowned. It seemed like people were cooperating the night of the murder.
"Everyone was in shock and not sure what was going on," Caleb said. "Since then, they've all talked, gotten their stories straight, and now no one is saying anything."
"Is that why you're going after Alice so hard?" I asked, then took a sip of wine, judging Caleb's reaction to my question over the rim of my glass. His expression tensed, but he didn't frown. After a beat, he shrugged.
"She's got the clearest motive. Nearly everyone I talked to mentioned that Lucinda was actively trying to break up the wedding and that she was horrible to Alice. Seems pretty clear-cut, but without a witness or any physical evidence, it's going to be hard to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt."
"You need a confession," I said. Caleb glanced up, his smile returning.
"Your last boyfriend a cop or something?"
I laughed and gave a coquettish shrug. Caleb chuckled, and I waved my hand, still grinning. "Actually, I just like crime shows. I don't get a lot of downtime, but sometimes I have trouble sleeping and I stay up and watch TV." He sputtered into his beer.
"Wait, are you saying a good..."